we marched for 2 days, you know, and what they did, they always had one of the German, one of the soldiers, whatever he was going forward on a bicycle. He was always riding forward and look up if the air is clean, if we can walk. And we walked in the middle of the highway, like, you know. A lot of people walked, marched every day. On the third day, we noticed a lot of Wehrmacht, you know. They're throwing away their weapons, you know. They were throwing away their weapons, and they were carrying like grenades on there, like a stick or something. They were throwing away, and they were like going home, whatever they, you know. We noticed that things are no good, you know. So on the third day of our march, we were spotted by the American planes, you know. And all of a sudden it was like noontime, and 3 tanks came over the potato fields, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the Germans told us they are tanks. You know? They were not there. They were American tanks. And they had these on the front. They had these red crosses on the American tanks. They stopped us in front of the march, the tanks. By then, the Germans saw that it's a serious situation here. So they called all the soldiers over the Wache. They said, alles eintreten. They should all go on one side. They should
line up.
Yeah. And we were on the road, and they were like on the field, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The first American tank came. He lowered his machine gun and killed them all off. The German, the Wache, he killed,
Mm-hmm.
you know. They knew exactly what's happening. So whoever was alive from them, you know, came up with the hands up, you know, hands up. They were round up, taking away the weapons, and they were taken away someplace. The rest were killed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They told us to go where the jeeps and the tanks are coming from. We go there. We should go there.
Mm-hmm.
And over there is going to be the Red Cross. It's going to be waiting for us, you know. And I remember they knew who we are, so they threw us like rations, you know, cigarettes. And I took once a cigarette, you know, and it knocked me out. It was April 14, and I fell asleep. I fell asleep on the grass, you know. I slept for about an hour, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And after an hour, I got up, and the only thing I had is my, you know, the things was you wearing those striped uniform, and what you had is a plate, you know, a dish, you know,
Mm-hmm.
with a hole in the dish with a piece of rope on your pants, you know, because you always carry this with you in case you
This
get
food.
some food someplace. This was my everything I had. We got to this Prozik. Name of the town was Prozik, near Bitterfeld.
Prozik.
Prozik, Prosik, Prozik. It's a little town near Bitterfeld, on the near the Elbe River. Yeah? That's where we were liberated. Yeah? In that town, there were already a lot of refugees there. You know, they took our names. You know, and I was giving shelter in a Catholic church. You know, among with other people. You know, the place where we were sleeping and all that. You know. And the next day or the next 2 days, they called names out, and I saw a name. I thought this could be a Jewish name. His name was Monique Brown. You know, so I went over to him and said, "Are you Amcho? You know,
Amcha.
Amcho." He said, "Yeah." That's the first one I met after the war. He lives in Howard Beach, New York. You know, we're still friends. He's younger than me. We were living there in Prozik, and after a while, after maybe a week or two, we found out that this territory where we were liberated, the Russians are going to take it over, because it was the Yalta or Potsdam agreement that there's a certain line there, you know, that they have to, whoever comes first, they have to go back. So the Americans had to withdraw from there, and the Russians will take it over. So we were not very keen about the Russians, you know. So we decided to go west, you know. So they told us that in Buchenwald, you know, go back to Buchenwald. And Buchenwald was already liberated, you know. I think Lura was liberated the 11th, I think. We were liberated the 14th. So go back to Buchenwald, and over there they sent people to Israel and all that kind of stuff. But they didn't know. So they picked me up, picked me and another guy. We were pretty healthy. I was 21, and we got some bikes, you know, and we were riding to Buchenwald, you know. It was a lot of miles to go from there to Buchenwald. So we go like halfway, and we were very tired, and we needed some food, so we stopped over in like a Polish camp was there, not Jewish, just Polish. And we stopped over and we went some food, you know. So while we parked the bikes, they stole our bikes, you know, they stole our bikes. So this guy says to me, "Don't worry, we're going to steal some other bikes," you know. So some girl came to a butcher shop, something, he took our bike, gave it to me, and then he stole another bike, and we took off again, 2 other bikes, you know. We came to Buchenwald. We found out that you can sign up, and they send you the Hayas is there, or something going on there. So we came back, you know. By then we had about 14 people, Jewish people. They came, we got together, you know. So now, how do we get there? We went into the fire department, you know. Everything was like chaos that time, you know, chaos. We knew a girl there that she worked for the Americans, you know. And she gave us a Bescheinigung, you know, German, you know, that we're looking for our family in the West, you know. And we took out a fire truck. And one guy was 28, you know, one of the guys was older. He knew how to drive a car, you know. We threw all the hoses out, you know. We went to Buchenwald with the fire truck, you know.
Mhm.
About 11 or 15 people, I don't remember how many people. We came to Buchenwald. We came to Buchenwald on the fire truck, and our information was wrong because we found out that you have to go to the Swiss border or something from there, you know, some kind of, the information wasn't correct. But we didn't have any more gasoline, you know. So we met two brothers, you know, and they worked for the Americans there in Buchenwald. So they said they can bring 2 canisters of gas, you know, and they should take them along on the fire. I said, yeah, sure, we have a lot of room there. So the morning he came with the, you know, he went to Frankfurt am Main, you know,
With the fire truck.
with a fire truck, in Frankfurt am Main, the fire truck broke down because we forgot to put in oil, you know. So the engine burned out. So the engine burned out. So we met somebody else, and they told us that there's a temple on Friedrichstraße, in Frankfurt.
Mhm.
We should go there. There's a lot of soldiers there. They speak Yiddish. We couldn't speak English. So the next day we go there. It was a Shabbos or a holiday. I don't know what it was. You know. And we go there and we meet a lot of soldiers. They're
Mhm.
from Brooklyn, from New York, from Chicago. They speak Yiddish. You know. We tell them our story. You know. They knew already that we have problems. You know, we have from the camp and all that. They told us, if you're willing to work, you know, you should come the next day on a Sunday to the Hauptbahnhof, you know, in Frankfurt, you know,
Mhm.
and they will give us work. They will give us work and shelter and work and all that. You know. So some of them said that they're fixing the truck and they're going to the Swiss border, you know, and from there they're going to go to Israel, you know. I decided I'm not going anyplace anymore. I'm staying in Frankfurt, you know. I went to the temple there, and I came on Sunday. I signed up, you know. They took us to a place it's called Hedernheim, you know, in Frankfurt, outside of Frankfurt. That's like the headquarters there from the American Army. They gave us a building to live in. They gave us clothes, like uniforms, but without the...
Mhm.
And we got assigned to different places. Like I worked, I'm mechanical inclined. I fixed boilers and stuff like this. Some worked in the kitchen, you know.
Mhm.
And we worked for the American Army for about a year, you know.
And then
I found a cousin, you know. He lived in Salzheim. Maybe you heard about Salzheim? Salzheim near Frankfurt was a VP camp in Salzheim, you know.
yeah.
And also I found a soldier. I told them that I have an uncle in America, you know. And he said, where does he live? I said, in New York. And he said, where's New York? I said, on 30, I remember my father wrote down 36th Street, you know.
Mhm.
So he said, 36th Street is, he said, people don't live there, there's all the factories there. Nevertheless, he wrote to his parents, you know. And he had a shop there on 36th Street. That's what he, you know. And I got a letter from him,
Mhm.
you know, through this soldier, you know.
And you came to this country when?
I came to this country in December 49. December 10th, 1949. And I met my wife through, because I had a friend from Europe, and he had a date with a girl that he was too timid to go for it, so he needed some companion to go with him. So he took me and a friend of mine. We went to take out this girl. It was his date. So she didn't like him. I guess she liked me better.
And you were married when?
Right. I was married in 55, in the Temple Emmanuel in New York,
And children? When were the children born?
My children were born in 57.
Boy, girl?
No, boys. 3 boys. And I have 3 sons. And I have 8 granddaughters.
When was the next born?
57, end of 58, I think. And one in 1960. 60, yeah. He's going to be 44. So, no, he's 62 he was born.
And in terms of education,
See?
how far did your children go educationally?
2 of them went to college. One didn't go to college, but he's doing pretty good.
As?
They all have girls, and he lives in San Diego, and he has a business on the internet. He sells guitar strings all over the world. Webstrings.com. And the others are, my wife died about 16 years ago. My other 2 sons, one does computer training. He sells the training to big companies, does very well. And the other one, my oldest son, works for Mass Mutual. My daughter-in-law is a dean in high school. And my youngest son, daughter, wife does physical training for people. She's very good. And my middle son's wife, she's from Guam. She's an artist. She's very good. And they're all doing well.
When did you didn't have any hope of finding family? You knew.
I knew that I have nobody. I had 2 cousins in Israel, my first cousins. The one who gave me some bread on the Jerusalemska. He's still alive. His brother died. He's 86. And my wife passed away. She had cancer. And her name was Preminger. She was other Preminger's a cousin. Her maiden name is Preminger. Her father. They come from Chernovitz.
Okay.
Around there.
You told me that, yes.
Yeah.
Tell me, and you said you went back.
I went back.
Was there a wish to go back?
Actually, I went back twice. I went back right when I came here, when I came to this country. See, while we were in Germany, after the war. After I left, I worked for the Americans. I couldn't come to America because the Polish quota was full. And so we were involved in the black market in Germany, and we were dealing in cigarettes and chocolate. We were selling. We made a few $1,000s when I came here in 1949. So I thought that I took chances because was nothing to lose. I always survived that. I can do anything. So I went back to Europe, and the Queen Elizabeth. I went back to Frankfurt, and we supposed to contact to make some kind of. We brought the nylon stockings back. Started to dealing. It didn't work out. I came back. I went to work and for in a factory, and I didn't like it. And then I started to go to the farmers market, selling. I didn't know what I'm doing, but I did it anyway. I bought some stuff on the east side in Orchard Street, and I didn't do well. And finally, I learned a little bit more about it, and by coincidence, I went to a place in New Jersey, and her son opened a place in Stratford, Connecticut. And that's how I got to Connecticut. And I came to Stratford. It was called the Stratford Town Fair. And I did very well there. I knew a little bit more about business.
When I said going back, did you go back to Poland?
Oh yeah, Poland I went back last year.
Last year, first time?
First time. I wouldn't go back, but my kids, they wanted to go back to see my town, And I went back like to the scene of the crime, something like this. Was mixed feelings,
What were the feelings?
Was sad. I was sad, and at the same time, I felt good about it because I closed the gap, like something like, At the same time, also, the town was a very lively town when the Jewish people were there, Now it's a dilapidated little town. There's nothing going on there, The school I went, my school is still there. I met the son of my principal. They were very nice to me. And one woman that I met she was about 55 maybe. Was a former teacher, and she accumulated pictures of Jewish and Christian kids since 1923. And she put them all on she asked the students if the grandparents have pictures when they went to school. So one of the pictures, my sister was in that picture, My sister was in one of the pictures. She was about 12 years old at that time. And I also recognized some of the teachers she asked me, who this is? I told her. Kościuszko was his name. I recognized him. Then I went to the present principal, and she was very nice, a young woman, And they treated us very nice. My two sons went, and two cousins from Israel went with me. If we spent most of the time, one day we spent in my town, and the rest of the time we were in Krakow. Very nice city. And my son, while we were in my town, the synagogue is all destroyed, only the walls in it. And he went into the synagogue, and he didn't tell me about it. He took out a brick, He brought it all the way home. He crushed it with his kids, and they put it in a crystal vase. And they gave it to me for a Hanukkah present, for a momentum. And we also erected, this goes back maybe 10 years ago, we erected a monument where the cemetery was, And everybody gave some money, and we made this happen. And they were very nice about it. They let the children out from school that day, and the priest came, and so on. I wasn't there, but I saw pictures of it. So this time I went back, and was a very mixed. They treated me nice, but there's nothing there, and like you go to a cemetery. That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now I would like to take some photos.
Oh yeah, the photos I have here.
That's separate. I don't.